Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Centennial Conference Corner. My name is Amber Thomas, and I am virtually alongside head men's wrestling coach for Muhlenberg, Jason McLean. How are you
Hey,
doing today, Coach?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Many people may not know that you are a 2001 grad of Muhlenberg, arguably one of the best wrestlers in their history, the first All American, former Centennial Conference champion. What has your journey been like from being a former athlete to coming back to take over the program in 2017-18?
Honestly, it's been a bit surreal. I definitely didn't expect to be back here in this role. I've always tried to help out a little bit, try to send recruits and try to come up and help and do some things with whatever coach was in the area or coach was here at the time. Obviously, I was really close with my coach that was here, Tom Schlecker. Um, uh, Always wanted to see the program be at its best. But overall, it's been a bit surreal. I started off at a high school program, actually not even at a high school program, just working with individuals, which I enjoyed. It kept me involved in the sport, but I wasn't 100% invested in it. I've always said that if I was going to do something, I was going to do it if there's any such thing as people always say 105, 110%. I was going to do it to that amount, and there's going to be some sacrifices involved. Um, so I wasn't always willing to come and coach. My dad was a coach, like a rec coach, and he was all in, all in. So I knew I had to give it my best if I was going to do it. And I don't know if I was mature enough or prepared to do it. Wasn't something I explored, and then an opportunity popped up in an inner city, which was a little bit more than just coaching. It wasn't about winning. It wasn't about. It really wasn't even about the wrestling part. It was about instilling some things in young men, and in the end, young women's lives too. And so that became super important to me. So it was way more than winning at that point. It was more about the giving people something that they might not have had before without sport or without a good relationship or without a role model or without just something to do in the inner city. So it developed into a lot more for me than just coaching. Um, so to be here now and to kind of be able to do the same thing um, on a higher scale is important to me. It's not just about um, your traditional, maybe liberal arts student in the Centennial Conference, which kind of have had the same kind of, the same type of person. Is to expose young men and maybe young women eventually to something a little bit different, and to give them better opportunities. So that's super important to me because that's what was done for me in the end. I didn't grow up wrestling. Um, I was given the opportunity, and it would have been something if I had not taken advantage of it. I would probably have been, would have been kind of stupid if I didn't. So um, I just want to be able to do that for other people.
That's great. So since you spent so much time in the Centennial Conference as a student athlete and now as a coach, what would you say is your favorite Centennial Conference moment?
Oh wow. Actually, it's not even a wrestling moment. It's a football moment. I played football. So, quick little story about me. I came here to play football. I was recruited by a lot of good football schools. Educationally wise, my mom was smart enough to tell me, because my older brother played football, was, we got to look at the educational value. You can go play big time football, but where are you going to be in the end? Let's be realistic about and that's the conversation I think to segue into something else. Some of these student athletes, parents need to be able to have with them. Are you going to end up in the NFL? Are you going to end up in, my mom was able to have that conversation with me. So she saw the educational value here. So I played football. We were not very good my freshman year. And actually in between my freshman and sophomore year, I actually left Muhlenberg and came back to go wrestle D1 and came back and I was always appreciative the fact that Muhlenberg gave me the opportunity to come back. So that was kind of special to me and kind of intimate, but we beat Ursinus in an overtime football game. My buddy Kenyama McFarlane, who's actually an admissions director here now, called a game-winning touchdown. And I wasn't even in the game. I was actually out. I had gotten taken out in the first half. And it was just unbelievable because we had been struggling so much, and I came from successful programs, and then to have him do that and us being super close, it was a pretty cool moment. And we won in overtime, and it was phenomenal. It was really cool. So it wasn't even a wrestling moment, it was that. As far as sports goes, I think the Centennial Conference overall is a great conference. Competitively wise, it's just across the board. You see lacrosse and soccer, and when I got to Muhlenberg, soccer was top 10 in the country every year. And we used to go to soccer games and cheer our friends on and make noise. And I'd never really been around a soccer environment, so it was pretty neat. We had some European kids that kind of jazzed it up a little bit, so it was a lot of fun. So I think all around, just the Centennial is just a great conference.
It truly is. So with the times that we're in right now, you had a really strong team last year, had 3 people qualify for nationals. How are you keeping them focused and still like keeping their heads in the game?
Well, it's a bit of a challenge right now because you're basically coaching 3 teams. I have on-campus individuals. I have guys that are in the vicinity, and then I have my guys that are at home. So we try to develop some things, and some of it's hit or miss, that keep them engaged, whether it's community stuff. Right now, we're involved in a thing called NAMI Walks, which is an awareness for a fundraiser for mental awareness. So all the guys are doing that, as many that signed up. I think right now we have about 15 signed up. I'm trying to get, it's this weekend, but you can keep raising money after it. And you can do a mixture of activities. So we're going to try to add a little bit of wrestling into it eventually somehow. I don't know. So trying to get them engaged, keep them engaged that way. We don't have Zoom talks all the time. I'm not, I see value in it when there's something to say, but there has to be something to say. I'm not going to just do it I can text guys and call them personally and say hi. Some guys are doing a lot on their own. The freshmen that are here on campus and the 4 upperclassmen are super engaged. Upperclassmen have taken on some kind of role model status with these guys, and it's pretty cool to see because there's a couple of guys that are on campus that weren't our strongest athletes last year, but have embraced the fact that they're able to kind of guide these young guys and show them where stuff is. And we have study hall, so taking them to study hall and going over work with them and all that kind of stuff. So the challenge is trying to keep everybody engaged. I try to talk to guys at least once a week, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Everybody has their own plate. I have a couple of guys that are at home because they're worried about their parents and the virus and all that kind of stuff, and I completely understand. I had a couple of guys who had off-season surgery, so dealing with them is a whole different kind of thing because they're going through rehab. And I have a couple of guys that are wanting to compete sooner than later, so it's a challenge. So you got to kind of wear a couple of different hats, and it's kept me on my toes. I've got great assistant coaches that are involved as well. I wouldn't have the success I had without them. Like, they're awesome. So, for the most part, it's just trying to handle each guy individually. I don't think you can kind of put everybody in one little group and give them the same thing. So, some guys need this, some guys need that.
That's so true. So switching it over a little bit to what my favorite segment is rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Are you ready?
My notes out.
So my first question is favorite sports movie.
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. It could be a couple of them. I want to say Sandlot, but Sandlot's not really a sports, it's just about baseball. Rudy was always my favorite because I was a little guy. And now anything relative to wrestling. I don't care if it's a bad wrestling movie, it's still wrestling. So Vision Quest, if you know what that is, Vision Quest is probably my top one.
Yeah. So favorite motivational quote.
Not really a quote, more of a Bible verse. My grandmother, as I was young, used to always make me repeat Proverbs 4, 5, and 6. It's just trust in the Lord with all your heart, lead not into your own understanding, all thy ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. And I think I'm a testament of that because I don't know that I'm supposed to be here. So, I'm just trying to trust the process, I guess.
Yeah, Favorite sports figure?
Oof. Not one. Bo Jackson. Huge Auburn fan. My mom's from Alabama. Deion Sanders. Always idolized him. And wrestling wise, Lee Camp, Dan Gable. The best of the best, I think.
Last one. There's a lot riding on this last one.
Okay.
Favorite athletic conference?
Ooh, I mean, I'd be silly not to say Centennial, right?
Yeah.
Say Centennial. I think wrestling wise and some other sports, we're just doing more and more and more. Wrestling wise, obviously I'm biased. We're in Pennsylvania, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be one of the best conferences around.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time to sit down with me virtually.
No problem.
You guys can catch the Centennial Conference Corner each and every week on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube at Centennial Conf. Until next time, see you later.
Thank you.